under their stewardship in a way that is caring and fully responsible with regards to appreciating the multidimensional aspects of that work. To do the job fully. Yeah. That's all it is. It's about making the work whole.
Yeah, agreed.
But, you know, as I really reflect upon this, I'm thinking I should just make it clear, you know, who we all are, just so it's, you know, for the listeners, viewers. It's us in community, sharing our stories and standing for a certain quality of display or interpretation, let's say, for works. So thinkers, curators, writers, also collectors. Collectors have a big role to play in ensuring that these works are whole in the way that they approach their relationship to the artists and to, you know, their real connection to the artwork. And then, of course, institutions.
Do you think institutions are doing their thing?
Generally,
yeah.
Piecemeal. It's very piecemeal. You know, there's levels to it. There's one thing about having a beautifully curated show that does that job, and then, you know, the curator or the curatorial team don't feel safe to approach all subjects in that way, all potential proposals in that way. You know, there's no point having care embedded into the way you present art if it's not embedded into the way that you do the work of stewarding, promoting, enabling people to access art.
I know what frustrates me about the art space and how it operates. What frustrates you about the art world and how it operates?
Okay, so what frustrates me, there's a few things that frustrate me. No.
We've had conversations.
Yeah, we've had many conversations about this. I'll start with exclusivity. Now, the art that exists within galleries that are public is there for everybody to experience. And I would love it if everybody felt confident and welcomed to properly experience that. There are many institutions that are now really focusing their efforts to do a better job to do that, but there's a long way to go. It's a long way to go to ensure that everybody gets to benefit from the beauty and the inspiration and the healing that can come from engaging with powerful art. The second thing that really frustrates me is like the misalignment, you know, the lack of translation of cultural value into economic value, particularly when it comes to certain aspects of, you know, African diaspora, black art, whatever you want to call it, art produced by people from the African diaspora of African history. It's not straightforward, and that's because there's many mediators to value. And it isn't always a fair playing field, let's put it that way. And the third thing I will say is the fragmentation of effort.
Don't I know it?
Right? We're so much stronger together.
Yeah.
And everybody's responsible for, you know, if you say it, you have to be about it.
Yeah.
But I would love to see a much more coordinated effort between those who share values. Let's not be super idealistic. I'm just saying with those people who share the ideals and want to move in things in a certain direction, that we could be coordinated and support each other and know that, you know, if we're working towards the same goal, we can all benefit from it.
Yeah. To that last point, because we've spoken about how does everybody get together because we're all on a part of that mission, because one, I want to encourage more black art collectors because I feel as though that system is missing in terms of how do we get there. Do you think there's a reason why everybody has not connected
Oh
I
yeah,
have my
there's many
hints
reasons.
of, you know, the percentage of black people and the opportunities that are out there is small. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes I think, why are we going for the smaller pies when we can build something of our own?
I mean, this is a very big question.
Hmm.
I say big because there's so many different
Yeah,
levels to
loads of
it. You
layers.
can look at the social history of collaboration, and you can look at it from a generational perspective. You can look at it from a political perspective, and then you can look at it in terms of, you know, the practicalities of everyday life.
Yeah.
And I think that's the easiest way to look at it
Mm.
because, you know, people can feel pretty nervous about how to enter into this world and do it in a way that has impact, especially when if you're coming from it, you know, without huge wealth.
Yeah.
You want the little money, the significant little money that you have,
Yeah.
to have impact in whichever way you value that impact. So that can make people very cautious and wary about dipping their toes in and then knowing who to trust for guidance.
Big time.
And this is where we come in,
Hmm.
because we are passionate about guiding those people who have an interest in developing their knowledge, their confidence, their own clear priorities about who they want to collect, the kind of sense of, you know, impact they want that to have in their life, in their community. And I don't think everybody easily knows that there are people like you and I
No.
here to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it is distinct and powerful to know that there are people from the African diaspora who, I personally come from a working class background, but I consider myself an expert in this field and I'm very much invested in sharing that knowledge and empowering the community at large, which empowers society at large. So, yeah, we need to raise our hand more.
Yeah.
And be strategic about how we get the message across, which is why we're having this
Yes, that's why we're here. You know, I definitely think it's important, you know, from, you know, producing the Substack and pushing that out there, we're seeing more and more people ask those questions.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a part of things like this as well.
Good.
Ecosystems, I know that's something we've touched on privately as well. You know, what does a healthy ecosystem look like for an artist today?
A healthy ecosystem looks like alignment, you know, between, like I said, the value of the culture and how that's represented financially. But it looks like, you know, that value being perceived, say an artist producing work, it has something special to it, and that value is identified and recognised early, but then there's systems in place to ensure that that value is nurtured and sustained, and that it's able to have then its full impact. I think if we have a system that enables that, it's healthy. Whereby it's enabling, you know, effort and expertise, brilliance to translate into value, but then there are people, collectors, thinkers, writers, curators, able to nurture that, and then institutions willing to partner equitably to protect that value for the long term. That's what I think a healthy ecosystem would look like. All the different constituent stakeholders of the ecosystem working together coherently, without there being these voids or these kind of black holes.
Yeah. Why do you think there's these type of black holes currently right now?
Not everyone's down for the equitable future. That's not what motivates everybody. That's fine. It's a part of reality. But another element, and I think that brings us back again to the purpose of this podcast, is the education.
Yeah.
That information isn't widely broadcast. People don't find it that easy to access. And if that were to change, that could start to close the gap, close the hole, so to speak. And I think, we need to be a bit more strategic about how we discern and convey value. You know, we know this work is amazing. Other people know it, but it gets written off by one person over here.
Yeah. That I could do that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are our tastemakers? Grounded in our intellectual thought, you know, much more holistic in thinking. That's another reason why the whole, you know, these black holes exist, because that part of the ecosystem that frames and validates, we don't have much power over that at the moment. There aren't as many. No, it's not many about voices, because Substack is
it's
moving.
going,
but
yeah.
How do we consolidate these tools of validation to ensure that people, can find confidence in that?
Yeah, no, agreed. What do artists misunderstand about building sustainable careers?
I don't think they think about structure enough. What systems are you putting in place to ensure that your career is sustainable? It's not enough. Talent is not enough.
Yeah. And that work.
Quotes.
Yeah.
Unquote. You need to think about the relationships. You need to think about the framing of your work. You need to think about the positioning of your work. Same thing, more or less. Who's supporting you? What are your goals? How are you going to measure success?